Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of June. I'm going to give you the key strands to look out for this week. Please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces, which you can watch in terms of your ascendant or your sun or both. Now this week, of course, does see the new moon in the sign of Cancer. Now, depending on where you are in the world, it's on the 28th or 29th. In terms of Universal Central Time, it's the 29th. And this squares with the buoyant energy of Jupiter. Now, both are in cardinal signs. Cancer, the second of the cardinal quadrants, is very much about protection, nurture, the environment, our home, our family, our feelings. So that upbeat energy, that levitating energy of Jupiter is asking us to find ways, enterprising ways, because I think Jupiter is pushing for that, to add that sense of security at the root of our existences. Now Neptune, the planet of dreams, does begin a retrograde on Tuesday, which will last through to the 4th of December. Neptune's great if we want to embrace a more spiritual dimension, whether it's a more traditional spirituality or something that's more personal and much more to do with our own particular way of experiencing faith. But the retrograde could see us thinking very deeply about these issues over this period of time. But later this week, Neptune gets into a rather destructive right angle with Mercury. Mercury in the sign of Gemini, of course, is in its home sign, and it's very much about clarity and quick wits. So an exchange towards the end of this week may require a little more care, particularly if you're talking about a contract. But some gossip could be doing the round, so vital to try to keep things real. But there are two glorious influences this week. Mars forges a very stable angle to Saturn, and also there's a beautiful link between Jupiter and Venus. Now that can actually be very lucky, and if you're wanting to look to add to your family, I understand that this particular aspect can be very helpful, but it's also one where we can socialise and be a bit more free-spirited and live in the moment. Now the more breaking and restrictive energies of Saturn are counterbalanced by the more progressive energies of Mars, which is very much about pushing forwards. So Saturn can act as a bit of an anchor for the more rampant and more impulsive energies of Mars, so that's a very nice balancing influence too. In fact, towards the end of this week, despite the fact that Mercury gets blighted by Neptune, it actually also itself forges a stable link to Saturn. So I think as the week goes on, scrutinising the details around anything is going to be important. And as I say, particularly if you're discussing a contract, a job offer, or you're sending some communication that's important, make sure that you treble check everything before you do press that send button. Now, if you'd like to get a more detailed understanding of the new moon, please see beneath this video and you can watch my new moon special video. But if you are new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. I'm nearly there at the 100,000 subs mark, and if you've already subscribed, I'm very grateful. And if you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and embrace the wonder of more serious astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place, I can give you a roadmap that can guide you for the rest of your life, as well as a 12-month personal forecast. These are completely individual to you, and there's 30% off if you see the link beneath this video with my special offer. So Sagittarius, your week commencing the 27th forecast sees your ruling planet Jupiter in 2 very important alliances. The first could be the bringer of good fortune, because Jupiter is about expansion, but traditionally around luck in astrology, and is known as the greater benefic. The lesser benefic is known as Venus, and this week they're in a really neat alliance. Your general enthusiasm, passion and upbeat energy could be very influential in a connection you have with someone. Now this could be at an entirely personal level, that there could even be some kind of chemistry involved or great attraction, or it may be more in a professional situation where your graciousness but also your personality power can work in your favour. Now of course this week does see a new moon, which is a chance to rejuvenate or refresh the part of your situation to do with transformations. And Jupiter's square in that new moon. And if you are a more entrepreneurial person, or you're wanting to launch a new business, or wanting to make the most of your resources in a new way, Jupiter can be very stimulating. The important thing is to keep a sense of realism, because with Neptune going into a retrograde in your sector of home and emotion, if any physical or practical decisions are based on your inner world, but you're not quite sure of why that might be, that could tempt you, particularly when Neptune squares with Mercury later this week. Someone's conversation with you could be very enticing, but what's really in it? And I think the fact that Mercury is anchored by Saturn and Mars is also anchored by Saturn this week in your sector of everyday communication, that gives you the clue. So whatever it is you're thinking about, whether it's romantic, professional, financial, or home, emotion and family, stay as grounded as you can and really dissect the conversations in almost a frame by frame way to make sure that everything feels solid and real. And that's really the message of this week. Despite its great opportunities, look to keep things real.